Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to talk about something that I don't know if people are going to be incredibly surprised by, but that is the fact that Final Fantasy XVI, the upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive, could be headed to PC sometime down the line. Again, I think this is something a lot of people saw coming, but we'll talk all about that. And Alan Wake, the remastered release, unfortunately, did not do as well as Remedy had hoped. I want to talk a little bit about that at the end of this video, just because Remedy and what they're doing, obviously, they kind of are handcuffed as far as sales numbers are just gonna go. But, yeah, Alan Wake's awesome, and I do want to give that a mention in a little bit. But first of all, Final Fantasy XVI, exclusive to PlayStation 5 for at least 6 months. There's an exclusivity window that was revealed as a part of a brand new PlayStation 5 Play Like Never Before trailer. It specifically notes Final Fantasy XVI anticipated summer of 2023, PlayStation 5 exclusive for 6 months. Now, I don't think this is groundbreaking news. I think a lot of people had a hunch that FF16 at some point would be headed on over to PC, because if you remember when FF16 was initially revealed back in 2020, it was, I believe, the PlayStation 5 reveal event. Initially, a lot of people had thought that the game was coming to PC anyway, because I believe the trailer they showcased said something about that, or it said PlayStation 5 console exclusive, something like that, that pointed towards there being a PC release. Fine, they said that that was a mistake and that was inaccurate, but if you look at what Square Enix has done in the past with Final Fantasy, unless Sony really backed up the truck in terms of offering an absurd, a ridiculous amount of cash to make this game a full-on exclusive, it just probably didn't make all the sense in the world for Square Enix to go down that route. Because if you look at the Final Fantasy VII Remake, look, you can feel how you want to feel about the FF7 remake in the sense that, oh, it's a trilogy, oh, it's getting delayed releases on PC. I gotta give Square Enix credit for figuring out a way to milk the absolute life out of Final Fantasy VII to get as much cash as possible. Because remember, with FF7, they got a significant amount of money from Sony to make that game an exclusive right out the gate, a timed exclusive. Then, I believe, I don't know this for certain, but I believe they got even more money to make Final Fantasy VII Intergrade a limited time release on the PlayStation 5, and then, not only that, Square Enix went to Epic Games Store and got money from them for making Final Fantasy VII a 6-month timed exclusive. Like, bruh, if you're doing all that just to get the most mileage out of FF7, at that point, I just gotta give you respect for, like, monetizing FF7 to that extent, and I imagine they want to do that with FF16 as well. I could easily see them doing something like, okay, Sony's paying us a decent chunk of change. Let's now bring this game on over to PC. Let's make it an Epic Games Store exclusive. And let's make it an exclusive for another 6 months. And then you can get the Steam release. That's just me looking at what they did with FF7. And like, bruh, if you're gonna get paid like, 7-8 figures to make these exclusivity deals, like, yeah, knock yourself out, bro. Like, yeah, you go for it. You go for it. So it looks like it will be a PS5 exclusive for 6 months. We'll see if it ultimately does come to Xbox, because I'm actually really curious about that, just because Microsoft and Xbox has kind of gotten the short end of the stick when it comes to Final Fantasy, because 7 Remake is on PC, it's on PlayStation 4 and 5, not on Xbox for whatever reason, but they're putting Crisis Core on Xbox, so it's like, why not just put FF7 on Xbox as well? I'm sure there could be language in the contracts that Sony signs that, hey, you can put the game on PC in X amount of time, but if you want to put the game on Xbox, Y amount of time, I should say, has to go by. I don't know the exact language in terms of a contract like that, but you would imagine that Sony would at least look into something like that. Given that Sony's doing stuff like spending money to block games going to Xbox Game Pass, like that's just wild stuff. So if you're thinking, they're not going to try to block a game like FF16 to go on Xbox, but let it go on PC, you're crazy. They'll absolutely do that. FF16, I think, looks fantastic. It is being helmed by the FF14 team, so that's really exciting in the sense that, Final Fantasy has always had a history of the mainline titles, sometimes getting stuck in development hell, sometimes not turning out that great. However, remember that Final Fantasy XVI was revealed in 2020, and it's coming out in 2023. That is not a lengthy window of time at all for a Final Fantasy game. That's actually a pretty quick turnaround. So it would be interesting to see when it would hypothetically come to PC. I would probably think early 2024, late 2023, something like that. We also have Final Fantasy VII. What is it? Rebirth? Rebirth is the game, right? The part 2. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a bummer. So, unfortunate that is going to be a PlayStation only release for probably a considerable amount of time. I would probably say a year as well for that. But yeah, we'll ultimately see how all that turns out. FF16 at some point being on PC is going to be great because, like, bruh, it's going to look really good on PC. FF15 definitely had its fair share of issues, and it was a good-looking game on PC, don't get it twisted, but man, it had some technical issues for days, so hopefully if FF16 does come to PC, they'll get those issues ironed out as well. FF7 also had a lot of issues, so yeah, Square Enix still gotta tighten up their game as far as that's concerned. But moving on from that, I do also want to note Alan Wake Remastered has sold less than Remedy had hoped for. Remedy Entertainment noted as a part of the company's recent investor report, Remedy discussed the studio's current fiscal position, saying in the third quarter of 2022, revenue grew by 7% to 7.9 million euro. Development fees made up 95% and royalties 5% of the revenue. Key positive contributors were the development fees for Alan Wake 2 and the Max Payne 1 and 2 remake. Unfortunately, Alan Wake Remake did not do all too well, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I should say Alan Wake Remastered wasn't a remake. It was an Epic Game Store exclusive release, but it also came out on PlayStation, Xbox, and I believe it's on Nintendo Switch. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it is on Nintendo Switch. Alan Wake's a fantastic game, but it having a PC-only release on the Epic Game Store, that was going to be a hindrance. But in this case, like, it seems like Epic is literally bankrolling the development of Alan Wake 2. So, like, if Epic wasn't involved, would Alan Wake 2 happen? I don't know, but it seemed like, it was very unlikely for it to happen. So if, like, Epic is gonna completely bankroll the development of a game, and that's the only way a game like Alan Wake 2 is gonna come to fruition, and it'll be an Epic Game Store exclusive. Look, at that point, like, what other better scenario is there if Epic is all inning on Alan Wake 2? The game is gonna be available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, and I'm excited for it. I will definitely check it out. I loved Alan Wake, and I don't know if I paid full price for it when it initially came out on 360, but I paid way more than was probably worth it, just because Alan Wake had that stigma of it being a really short game, didn't have a ton of content. The remastered was priced at $30, so it's not like it was overpriced at all. It included the DLC, but yeah, it's still just gonna be more of a niche title, which is a little bit of a bummer. I always liked it, but hopefully Alan Wake 2 does perform a little bit better. I don't know how well it's gonna do on PC. I think the EGS exclusivity is gonna hurt it. That's just me being frankly honest. It's not on the most visible storefront. That's just how these things go. But the game still should do relatively well, and I don't know, Alan Wake 2 probably is at the level of a game where people will forego any qualms they have with the Epic Game Store to play the game on there. I don't know, maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but we'll see. But that's going to do it for me. Again, Final Fantasy XVI is going to be a console exclusive to PS5 for at least 6 months. I would imagine that this would ultimately pave the way for a PC release. Whether that's going to be an Epic Game Store exclusive, that remains to be seen. I'm just assessing it based on Final Fantasy VII Remake, Stranger of Paradise, etc., etc. Alan Wake Remastered, unfortunately, didn't do as well as Remedy hoped, but hopefully Alan Wake 2 does do pretty well, because I'm excited for that. I'm hoping it turns out pretty well, given that it'll be 13 years since the release of the original that it took to get the sequel. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.